girl, Kiana the Goddess, with the one and only DJ FMI. We are here live at Quad Studios. We're about to have a secret interview guest, and it's going to be very, very interesting and in-depth. How you feeling, FMI?
I'm feeling amazing.
Yes,
of course, you know, it's Thursday, and the energy here is right. We're alongside the family, and I can't wait for you guys to see this interview. You guys can know the location.
Vibrating high all the way around. BPR radio, baby. Let's go.
Y'all rock with the one and only DJ from live here at Quad Studios. Kiana?
The infamous Quad Studios with the legendary Mike Geronimo and his son. Here with him for the first time, seeing him report in the mix. And we're about to get this interview started, so stay tuned because this is
Ultimately, shout out to Ben. Me and him one night was rhyming in front of a store on like Hillside. Like we was just hanging out. We went and got like 40s and we was all lit up.
40s in the 90s.
40 for the chair, we're knocking it out.
The whole
Right. 99 steps.
I'll give it back, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's solidified.
with cold frozen and all
Yeah.
that. And then we was spitting in front of the store and it was like a homeless dude. And the dude told my man, he was like, "You alright?" He said, "But you?" He's like, "You gonna be somebody with that." And that like stuck with me. And as fate would happen after that, I had started battling people in my high school. Inside high school. Started having like little battles on the bus.
Right.
And I met my man Chucky Madness, who was like a big DJ in Queens at the time. And so he heard me spit and he was like, "Yo, why don't you come to my crib on the weekend? You know, I'm gonna start recording you for the mixtape." And that to me, I was like, "Yo, that's dope," because you know I like to be on a mixtape at that time was crazy.
Big thing.
Right. And I didn't, like I said, I wasn't aiming to get a deal or anything, but once he asked me to do it, and I would have such a good time being around him, I said, yeah. So I went, and before I knew it, he had put me in a talent show. I didn't even know he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us where we're
The talent show was on 109 in Liverpool in Queens. So
Okay.
it was like a rough spot to be doing this show at.
Right.
People, they didn't like him, and then it was my turn.
Yeah.
And I spit the song, and the whole gymnasium was like quiet. The pin drop.
Oh,
And
damn.
I was like, damn.
What does that mean?
He ain't about to throw nothing on me.
Right.
It ain't gonna be like
I
that.
heard one dude like, "Yo, you got another song?"
Wow.
And then somebody else was like, "Yeah, sing another song." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I did all right."
Right.
That's real shit.
And I didn't have another song, so I just blacked out and started
Made something up.
freestyling.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I did good.
That's so missing in today's hip hop. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, "Oh, I got a freestyle." A freestyle that you wrote down is not memorized. It's not really a
You know what I'm
freestyle.
saying? Not that we gonna rap, because a lot of people want to use their phone, I get it.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
Yeah,
we appreciate when people come in.
Shout out to Super MC. You remember his freestyle
Yeah.
in the studio was
That
like
was
beyond
live.
others. I was like,
You gotta
yeah.
appreciate
He
that.
took everything around us and talked about us.
That's
Including
the
me and
story.
FMI. I was just like, this
That's
is
the
beautiful.
school we came
Yeah,
from. Like,
exactly.
When he was at large crib, he would just throw a beat on and he
Right.
would just go around the room and everybody would spit. And
Yeah.
I guess from there you just would, you know, hone your freestyle abilities or whatever. So I did. And what I didn't know was Chuck knew Herb Battle.
Okay.
So he had introduced me to Herb at the show. He must have told Herb he was doing it or whatever. And I guess he was, you know, him and Herb was evaluating me or whatever. So
Right.
I remember Herb came up to me and he started telling me, "Yo, I have a studio and blah, blah, blah." And I was all lit up, so I just grabbed him by his neck and just started spitting in his ear like, "Ugh," and I started smiling.
That's
It's a
real.
different time. I was like, heard you.
Yeah.
With nights like that, you can do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kid,
go for it.
without nothing.
Got it.
Right.
And like I said,
YOLO.
we was in the zone, so for ourselves. So when we was in the zone, I just started spitting, and he was like, "Yo, I got a studio. You know, I want you to come through and blah blah blah." And at first, I was like, "Man, whatever." And we talking, but then they ended up shooting up the party, so we all had gotten separated. And I didn't take his number because we didn't have time. Like once everything
Right.
popped off.
And it wasn't like you had phones then to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
take my
yeah, exactly.
So we didn't exchange math, but somehow, someway we had gotten connected again. And like a couple of days later, he called me again and he was like, yo, you know, I really want you to come to the studio. And he's like, if you don't like it, you know, you don't have to do it anymore. He's like, but I just want you to try to see if you know, would want to do it.
Right.
So he gave me a beat, and the first beat he gave me was Just Real. So the first time that we recorded anything ever, just to test how I sounded, it was Just Real.
Wow.
So like halfway through, he was just like, yo, you never did this before.
You sound like a pro.
And I was like, nah, this is my first time ever recording, and he just did this live.
That's an amazing first time, because everybody's first time isn't like that. Usually it's some basement studio, you know what I mean?
Just to look at Shit's Real, that's one of your top songs on Spotify.
Right.
I was going to ask you about it too, because I'm glad you touched on it. I was just like, look at that.
Yeah.
It stood the test of time. What are we saying?
And it showed you that this was where you belonged, you know what I mean? How old were you?
I was maybe
18, 19?
Yeah, you were still a baby.
That's about
You know what I mean?
Question, how he know?
I know the story. When I asked him, I saw him, I have kids too, so I know he was like, oh, here's the story again. I was like, I know what that means. I just heard this story.
He researched everything.
Yeah.
But I was about 18, going on 19.
Right.
I just graduated from school, and I was
Nice.
just trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
I didn't really know. And when it came to that, I was just like doing it. I wasn't doing it with an intent of being like, okay, I want to sign. We did a couple of other songs, and then Earth was like, yo, I'm gonna press the record up. You know, like, how we gonna do that? I said, yo, I don't know, but we gonna figure it out. And he did. And we pressed Just Real up on like these black 12-inch label joints, and we went everywhere. Like he would sleep in front of Hot 97 and like wait for Ed Lover or Flex or whoever it was. He would stay there religiously.
Yeah.
And you know, every morning.
That's conviction.
Oh yeah, he knew.
And same thing with like BLS, and the same thing with at that time Kiss.
Yeah.
Which was a station out.
Yeah.
Marketing now.
98.7,
back
right.
then. You were a street team, now it's marketing.
Yeah.
Earth was definitely ahead of his time in the sense of promotion and strategic.
Right.
And me, you know, I would just be with him. Like, you know, sometimes he'll send me in the club with the record, and I would just go up to whatever DJ, be like, yo, man, it's my Geronimo, it's my joint. If you like it, rep it. If you don't, just break it over your knee.
Right. I like that.
And I would just tell everybody.
Yeah.
And thank God ain't nobody break it over their knee, at least not that I know of.
Right.
Next thing I know, it was just like, yo, this label was calling, and we had to go to meetings, and you know, I still wasn't really absorbing it all because it was happening so fast.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I was like, I wasn't really aiming for all of it, so I took it all. And the next thing I know, we had sat down with Steve Gottlieb over at TBT Blunt, and we had a good meeting, and they had explained to me, it was like, you know, if you sign here, you'll be the first hip-hop artist on the label.
Wow.
You know, it's a big thing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And even then, I still was, you know.
Okay.
Next thing I know, you know, I'm just standing there, and they're like, well, these guys are Billboard, and they're going to take a picture of us. And you're officially signed. And that was it. And then after that, it was just off to the races.
Yeah.
I just took it day by day.
That's amazing. It all came together really fast.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the System story and how they got signed like overnight, you know what I mean? And they had been working together for years. That's like, those moments in life, especially when you're young and you get the ability to actually just live your passion and you're not really worried about, oh, okay, I want to make this amount of money, or, you know, that's not your driving force. I think people get it confused so often because if you're making a ton of money but you're miserable at your job, it's going to have you miserable at home, miserable toward other people, you know what I mean? You're going to be arrogant, all sorts of different things set in, and you see the personality type is affected by them chasing that money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And when you are chasing your passion, that money chases you.
And I took it more like whatever it was that's bigger than us all. It's just like, yo, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because again, I wasn't focused on the results or this leads to this and that's gonna get me this, and then if I do that, I'm gonna be bossed up here. I didn't really care, and all those things that I guess people was into that wasn't in my personality anyway. Like I was never, you know, a car guy. I was never, you know, like, yo, I want to be this and I want to be bigger than him.
Right.
I was never that way. I just like staying fresh and, you know, burning it down and chilling with my folks. So to me, anything that came from it, it was like, cool, okay, so today's not an average day.
Right. That's putting it mildly. That's billboard.
You put it easy like that, I'm like,
nah, and that's how and I wasn't, and I still was in, I guess you could say, a sort of bubblehead mode because I still wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm there at the time. And thank God it all worked out.
Amazing.
I love it.
Yeah. Very dope. Now, let's touch on the track that you're releasing here and playing today. I know people want to hear about that. And let's get into it. At least what motivates you right now.
Oh, yeah, so
Love it. Bring it back to today.
Yeah, we're here for it, you know what I mean?
Yesterday,
I'm celebrating still. We're counting the trophies. We're giving him his flowers here. We're very big on that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we releasing the first single of my last project, and the project's called 3016. And the first,
what are those numbers?
Yeah, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and he was.
It was 6 years ago.
6 years, that's right. That's when Grandpa passed.
Gotta keep him every interview.
He knows. So,
sharp with the dates.
I promised my dad, because my dad had asked me, he's like, you know, you gotta get back out. And I was like, that's weird, because my dad, like, he knew what I did, but, you know, parents, they're like always Johnny come lately.
They
gotta see it to believe it.
Right.
I agree.
Unless they were the parents that, you know, they were
put you into
And my dad wasn't that. My dad was a police officer here in New York.
Wow.
Crazy.
My dad was in
that's an anti-rapper.
Yo, back in the year,
theoretically.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So he, for me and my brother, he was pretty much, I guess, looking for us to follow in his footsteps, either with the military or with the force. I was like the polar.
That's a different kind of pressure.
So he knew, you know, like he knew his son was Mike Geronimo or whatever, but he had never really let me know that, you know, what he felt about it. And when he felt ill, you know, I went and visited him, and it's like, I was watching YouTube and all these people around the world talking about my baby, and I didn't know you meant this much to the world.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
So long story short, he made me promise to get back out, and I told him, I was like, you know, I'll be family, so, you know, when I went to Miami to do Drink Champs, it ended up being one of the beats that I first got. And then when I came back home, I started recording it. And then my man, who works with my Camp YNBS, he started tweaking. You know, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna make a couple of changes and make it like monster. The rest was history, and we just went and did it.
Bring out the beast.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to put this project together?
It's funny because in terms of like the flow, the things are different now, so much so where I think I'm loving the fact that when you're independent, you're not really a slave to a time.
Yes.
So I pretty much was taking my time with, you know, recording the process, but it's ironic because in me taking my time, I actually started working more efficient. So now I would go in the studio and I would end up doing 3 songs that I didn't count on doing that day.
Right.
Or I was mainly, or maybe I took one day to focus on an entire song so that I could build it exactly the way that I interpreted it a kid.
Okay.
Right.
So it varies. Some of the songs I did,
All day. That's not even a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
but
done.
other songs I might have took maybe 15 minutes.
Right.
Or 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's
I
just
love
all about how you feel when you get in. You know, so all in all, to me, the project still, we're working on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know you have a lot of setting up to do and a
Yeah.
lot more work, but we really appreciate you taking the time
No.
to sit with us. We would love to have you back
Yeah.
and talk, because I have a lot of questions.
No,
You have
anytime.
such a history. You know, we just
Yeah.
lost 2 greats that you worked with personally.
Yeah.
But we want to let you get to work because today's a big day for you.
I
So
appreciate it.
congratulations. Thank you for stopping by with us
Thank
and
you.
have a great one.
And thanks for having me.
Of course.
And all out there, thank you for the love, the support over the years. I wouldn't even be here, be able to do this, to keep being able to do it. So I'm very, very appreciative of that. So much gratitude for it. And
My favorite word.
it's time, you know, I'm gonna give y'all something to talk about. That's about it.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah.
No problem.